Namaste everyone. Welcome again to Bodhi Surf Yoga, and we have a very fun guest today. I believe he doesn't need introduction. If you have been in Bodhi or you're part of Bodhi, here it is, the myth, the famous one.
What?
You're getting your 20 minutes of fame right
God,
now. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Blushing.
Are you ready for this?
I guess. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm getting a dry mouth, to be honest. But I don't know. That might have been the wine that we had last night.
Well, we're not talking about it. Because this episode is about the spirituality of surfing. Very interesting topic. So let me introduce you, for those of you who don't know, Travis James Bays. Yeah.
Oh, get out of here, kitty catty.
He's allergic to cats.
Yeah, go choo-choo. No, choo-choo,
Anyways,
of course.
I think he can join us.
Okay, whatever.
So if you all know Bodhi, you know Travis is our surf instructor, co-founder of Bodhi Surf, the vision guy, the super hard worker, but also like he's very passionate about surfing in a deeper level, other than just like surfing as an activity, which we will go over. He feels there's a very strong spirituality side of surfing. You might know he's my husband.
I thought this was going to be about our marriage.
No. That we leave it for other moment.
Private conversation.
Private conversations.
Yeah.
My bestie, the good father of two daughters, and yes, that's Travis James Bays. But let's start. Are you ready to start this conversation?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So let's begin with your experience on surfing.
My experience in surfing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I started surfing waves when I was about 5. But it really wasn't surfing in the sense of like standing on a board. I was playing in the ocean, just like many kids, just like our daughters, jumping around, making sandcastles. And I started riding a boogie board. And then around age 12, I ended up getting introduced to a hard board. And, so surfing for me when I was young was just play. And then after that, at age 12, when I got on a surfboard, it was pure like thrill. And, I was born and raised to play traditional sports, soccer, baseball, American football. And so surfing was like this alternative thing, but nobody in my family surfed.
Who taught you?
That's a good question. So my first attempt at surfing a hardboard was a friend of mine's uncle. His name is Al, Big Al. He's actually quite famous in Pacific Beach for surfing PB Point and Tourmaline. And so he was the first one that got me on a hardboard. And then after that, really, it was Ryan, my good friend Ryan's father, Ken, who helped inspire some surfing as well. And in high school, surfing became...
You do it with your friends?
Yeah, it was more of an escape, Baseball took up a bunch of my time, and it was my main focus and dedication. And so surfing was like to get away from that, to get away from drama of high school.
So how would your day look like? You go to school, then you do baseball, then you do surfing.
Yeah, actually.
Then you do it again?
Yeah, no. I was pretty well known for waking up early and going surfing, and then going to class, and then going to baseball practice. So my days were really long. There were times too, like on the weekends, where my good buddy Eric and I would wake up at like 4 a.m. My mom would be like, "What are you doing?" And we would take off and surf. And again, just kind of looking back, surfing when I was young was just pure play. And then at age 12 till about, 14, 15, it was just pure thrill. And then in adolescence, it was escape. It was getting away from everything.
So because this is very uncommon in teenagers, I don't think we're going to see that in our teenagers. We better be ready about it.
See what?
Getting up at 4 a.m. to go surfing. Is that really true? Should we do some check? I'm gonna have
Go
to
ahead.
do a background check.
Go
on
ahead.
that
Yeah,
to
go
make
ahead.
sure
Well,
it's
I
true.
mean, I was always super disciplined in that sense because to be a great baseball player and a pitcher, I used to wake up really early to do workouts too.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a fact.
That's
That's a fact. And it was more in my
We'll do some fact check.
it was more in my
yeah.
junior and senior years when I was able to drive.
Yeah.
That's when it really happened. And also
Sure.
in my senior year of high school, we worked at the quarter system, which meant that it was like university. We only had 3 or 4 classes per semester. And so, I had actually large blocks of time where I was actually able to get out and go and enjoy surfing.
Good.
We didn't
Okay.
have a surf team though. I was jealous of all the other high schools that were along the coast because they actually had surf teams and they were actually allowed to get credit to go surfing as part of their physical education. Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
You couldn't change the schools? No?
No,
No, not
No,
because
no.
of that.
no.
Did you have a mentor? Like a surfing
surf
mentor?
mentor.
Or a spiritual surf mentor?
No spiritual surf mentor. There were people that I looked up to for sure. Well, actually, I'll take that back. I think if I think about it deeper, Don Laughlin, who shaped my surfboards in high school, C Brothers Surfboards, was definitely a mentor in a lot of ways. He taught both Eric and I the essence of shaping a surfboard and what goes into it. I remember spending hours watching him shape surfboards as part of a project that I had to do for high school, actually. And he was just such a calm, cool, collective dude, you know. And he also gave Eric and I a great book, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, and that really hit Eric and I pretty hard. For those of you that don't know, it's a book that really talks about the capacity of us to think, and what we think is what we become, you know. So he was definitely a mentor.
But you used to surf together?
We didn't surf too much together, no. He would watch us surf and he would understand our personality types and what we wanted to achieve out there, and then insert that, so to speak, into the board's energy through shaping.
But he would give you tips?
No. I didn't have any surfing tips or coaching from anyone, to be completely honest. Another mentor during that time was definitely Ryan's dad, Ken, in terms of surfing, but he wasn't like a coach. He was just always like, let's go camping and let's go to these remote places. And so with him, it was more of like exploring remote places, Mexico.
And connecting you with nature.
And
maybe.
connecting me with nature, yeah.
What characteristics did you see in Don that you admire so much, other than calm, cool, collective?
Well, I think that was probably the biggest one because I'm not calm, cool, and collective. A lot of people think I am, but I'm not. He was so knowledgeable about everything, you know, and I really admired his ability to work with his hands. He wasn't only, a shaper of surfboards, but he built things. He was a carpenter, you know, and that's something that I don't have, as you well know. Like, something breaks in our house,
Well, maybe
it stays broken, you know, and I try to fix it, and it doesn't happen.
Maybe not yet.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like I'm good at a lot of things, but that, not so much. And I also admire Don because, you know, there's a lot of stereotypes out there, and, Don took care of a high school. He was a janitor, and a lot of people look at a janitor as someone just like that cleans up things. But I remember him saying, you know, his passion was to really make sure that the school was a nice place for the students to feel comfortable in, to feel safe in, so that they had a nice learning environment. And I was like, wow, what a nice approach to look at, you know, his job and his passion.
Yeah, no, well, I have met Don, and I, briefly,
Yeah.
but I highly admire him too. He's you know I admire Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
He's a version of Mr. Miyagi, you know, like the people I look up to, it's always the people that they have, it's not about being clever, it's about wisdom. I always say they have so much wisdom that they find that the simplicity in life is good enough. and they are good with what they do, not this like a lot of desire, a lot of attachments, just like they live life with such simplicity that when you're with them, I remember that even the first time we met him, we went to that place that I love,
Taco Surf,
like,
in Pacific Beach.
and we lay down in the grass, and I had one of the best meals I have, and his energy is incredible. So I guess like he could be a good example of maybe surfing and all their connecting with nature can do to you, and bring up more the spiritual side, which brings the second question I have for you. This has been a debate in our family, I think, 10 years ago, but surfing is not a sport, according to you. So surfing is what?
Well, I don't know that I would say, and if I've said surfing is not a sport, I mean, it is a sport for
There's
many
an
people.
aspect of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I participated in that. So like when I was talking about surfing during high school as an escape, surfing became a sport for me in college because I went to college to play baseball and then stopped playing baseball to surf and to surf competitively. So I looked at it as a sport. And it was interesting though because, and I know I'm kind of going around the question, I'll get back to it in a second. Good politician here. I'm being a president.
Yeah, no, but you just brought me to our next question, which is
okay.
like...
Hold on.
Yeah, let's do this.
So, surfing in college became a real big ego thing. I wanted to be the person that was known for surfing, for winning. I wanted to be sponsored, and you know, as you've already heard me say before, I did have long blonde curly hair, and I was that Southern California surfer dude, and surfing was all about the show, you know, and to be quite frank, to meet girls, you know, yeah.
That was before. It's over. It's over now.
It's over. Yeah, you got me, babe. But so surfing really, to answer the first question, what does surfing mean, or what is it to me? It really didn't become a spiritual exercise or a connection to something greater until I got here to Costa Rica, and I think that was primarily because I had a lot of time to surf by myself in a place that was just so freaking amazing and so full of life. And I started doing a little bit more research. I think there's a lot of people that surf and surf better than me, but they still don't understand like how waves originate. They don't understand all of the things that go on. They just ride the wave. And so anyways, surfing for me is simply a transfer of energy, you know, from wind to water to me, and then hopefully from me to others. I say this quite frequently to my students, and I know you've heard this too before, but the idea is that when I get done with surfing, I come back and I'm a better husband to you, I'm a better father to my girls, I'm a better business person because I'm more creative and just more calm, cool, and collective. So the joke that I always tell my students is, then why don't I surf more? Like, why don't I get permission to surf more? Nothing against you, you know. We've got 2 girls, we've got a business to run, you know. But if it's making me a better person, why don't I do it more? And I think that's common with all of us. Like, whether it's your yoga practice or eating right or doing exercise, like if these things we know they're good for us, why don't we do them more?
Well, but then that brings other question, which is very yoga. It's always yoga. It's about finding balance, the middle way. It doesn't probably mean that the more you do it, the better you're. No, it's finding the middle path. There's a balance.
Like you yesterday?
Too much of anything is never good.
Like
right?
you yesterday, you hadn't surfed in a really long time.
And I did great.
The whitewater queen paddled all the way out and caught some blue-green waves. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a balance. And so is surfing, right? Literally.
Yeah, it's a balance. It shows you balance.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a competitive person?
Most definitely. Of course.
Ooh,
of course.
I heard that answer.
I crushed the competition.
I was afraid. Okay. But there's something
with good spirit, of course.
Wonder, in terms of spirituality, is competitiveness a good or a bad thing for a spirituality path?
Well, I think that I'm competitive a lot of times with my own self. I'm my biggest, as everyone I think is, enemy. And I'm competing against myself frequently. I'm testing myself always. Like, am I doing better every day? Am I improving every day? You know, and we had this discussion earlier about like the way sometimes I react to our girls and how can I be a better dad, right? And so I'm always looking for constant improvement. So in that sense, like, competitiveness is great. I'm competing against the older version of myself. When I go surfing, I don't look at like who's the best surfer out there. Not at all. Not at all. And when I look at Bodhi too as a business, I don't go, oh, are we better than Surf Simply, or are we better than Kalan Surf School, or whatever. Are we the best version that we can be? You know, and I think it's very clear that you're gonna always attempt to be the best, but you can always improve. And I think in terms of like your spirituality practice too, you can always go deeper. You can always set aside more time to think, to feel, you know. So yeah, I think if you look at competitiveness through that lens that I'm speaking about, I think it's useful to developing a better practice, you know.
No, and I agree. And I'm bringing this because I think in the fields of spirituality, competitiveness, it's seen as it has a negative connotation. But I think used also in a good degree, well balanced, it's what makes you try harder, put the work there. And if we're trying to follow a spiritual path, whatever it is, whether it's being in the ocean and connect with the ocean, or sitting in your mat and meditate or anything, you need that try harder. You need that spirit of, I want to get better than yesterday. I want to try more, and I want to continue trying. So I feel it's not bad. It is good into a certain degree. It turns bad probably when you use it against others.
I think so too. And I look at your meditation practice and how it's improved over time in terms of the frequency and the depth. And I think that that's you going deeper on your path of spirituality. And I don't think you look at it through the lens like, oh, I'm gonna compete against myself and see how long I can meditate. But inside you're like, I'm getting deeper and better, and I want to improve, and in order to improve I have to do this more, I have to go deeper, I have to study it more, stuff like that. So that's what I think. Like, we all have some degree of competitiveness that we can use it potentially to get better, because I remember I always thought that I was not competitive at all, because if I was like, I used to play basket, and I swear, there was a point where someone will, like, from the other team will score, and I'm like, oh my God, that was so good. Yeah.
Let's cheer for everyone. Like, so I thought, and I will do running races, and I wouldn't care like who goes first before me or after me. But I do feel I have a certain competitiveness against my version of yesterday, my version of tomorrow, you know, like always trying to look for better in a way.
And I think that if people say they're not competitive, just like if people say they're not selfish, I think they're just lying to themselves, to be completely honest. Or they're afraid to acknowledge the fact that they have that, because oftentimes it's been taught to us that it's negative to be competitive, it's negative to be selfish, and so they're afraid to honor that, hey, you know, I do have a part of that in me, and it's okay, you know? And so there's many times where I've had conversations with people, I'm like, oh, I'm not competitive, I don't really care. And I think that, like, inside they're just, my stomach is just exploded into some growling. Maybe that's the competitive nature of me right now.
Right, you're feeling it, yeah.
But I think that they're not honoring it, and I think you need to honor it and understand it and then utilize it appropriately, right? Like you said.
Well, I'm gonna bring an important question for those of you who know you. This answer is gonna be important I have two more questions.
I still love you, yes.
Yeah, that.
And I'm in love with you.
Two things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but it wasn't that. He's trying to lead it towards this romantic. It's not getting romantic.
You want me to take over the interview and flip it on you? Start asking you questions?
Not yet. That will be another time.
Okay.
But Bodhi Surf Yoga.
Uh-huh.
Is this company part of your spiritual path?
Of course.
How?
Of course. How Bodhi is me. My values, my personality traits, my blood, sweat, tears, laughter is all invested into this.
It's your footprint. It's what you're living.
Yeah, I don't like to say like it's my legacy. I don't, but like the meaning behind the word Bodhi, awaken consciousness, is something that I'm very proud to say that that's what we do here, in some way, shape, or form. And it's not necessarily, it's not like we have this class on how to awaken you, it just happens naturally. And I think it happens naturally to people that visit us because I think we all here at Bodhi are on that same path of awakening every day, and trying to figure out how to be more conscious, how to be more awakened. I suffer with living in the present sometimes, meaning that I don't do that often enough. And I think that that's something that we're trying to, live at Bodhi through the business and also help people recalibrate, so to speak, because a lot of times, including myself, we live in the future or we live in the past. And I think that when people come here, they start to feel that living in the present moment. And I think that's part of the spirituality of Bodhi Surf Yoga. And most definitely Bodhi Surf Yoga is part of my spiritual path for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Last question.
Last question?
Well, then we have the 3 questions, but the last question.
Look at the beautiful hummingbird.
And we're going to keep
talking
it short.
about the present moment.
Smile while you paddle.
Yeah.
What can you say about it?
Wow.
Was it that your invention? Let's get it.
I thought it wasn't my invention, and then Christy, a past guest, reminded me that indeed it was. And I wish I had my phone with me right now. I do. Let me see if I can pull out what she told me just recently, because I was debating, and Adrienne was like, yeah, it was totally you. And I was like, I don't know, Adrienne, But smile while you paddle, while I'm doing this. Smile while you paddle. So it's been said that like about 70% of surfing is paddling. 20% is making mistakes and falling, and then 10% is actually riding the wave. And so the idea is that if you're going to enjoy surfing, you need to figure out a way to enjoy that 70% of it, paddling. And paddling sucks. We all can agree on that. Every surfer will say that paddling sucks. It's hard. People joke around like, oh, I wish I had a jet ski to pull me out. Nobody likes paddling. And the thing that's really hard about surfing is that if you take a wave, right, and you make a mistake, it's not like you're on a hill snowboarding or skiing or mountain biking where you can get up and then continue the ride down. You have to turn yourself around and paddle back out that way. And I think that part of surfing is the hardest because a lot of times we want to just go in and run.
Namaste, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.